Welcome to Nurse Talk with Martha.
Tessie,
We are making history
we are reforming nursing
and we're elevating our profession.
to the next level.
Yes.
Yes.
Welcome again to our channel. We thank you all for joining us again today. And today we're going to talk about a cool topic, which is expectations. And when I say expectations, we're going to talk about what we expected when we first started in nursing and some of the realities that we actually encountered once we got in there. And also we're going to talk about some of the things that we might want to do a little differently, being that we're older nurses or more experienced nurses, and some things that you all might want to use in your daily practices.
And bring about suggestions. All your suggestions, we want them.
Exactly,
as well.
exactly. Well, I'm going to talk about my experience as what my expectations were. First of all, I never really wanted to be a nurse, which I've said before. And believe it or not, I wanted to be a fashion designer.
Wow.
So, but when when I was thinking about going into the military, that's when nursing actually chose me. So as a nurse, I figured that I would be able to get in there and just take care of my patients and just kind of concentrate on the medical side of things and just work with my patients. But I found that the reality was I had so many different things coming at me at one time. I had to take care of my patients. I had to take care of the family members. I had to learn and know how to get along with my coworkers and the doctors and the orders and the just medications, being on time, getting out from work.
Charting.
Yes, exactly.
Covering yourself.
All of that. And as a young person, especially I think I was like 20 when I first got out of school. And just as a young person coming from home and school and military, I was really overwhelmed because I felt like that I didn't have all the skills that I needed to, especially the interpersonal skills. Oh my goodness, you have to be a good communicator when you are working in a team. And I think I was a little spoiled too because I was in the military and we're very mission focused. The orders are given and we do as we're expected. There's a certain way that you treat people. There's all of that you learn in the military. And you have to, one thing that we used to say all the time is to never let them see you sweat or keep your composure, soldier. Keep your composure. Yes. And so as a soldier, you had to pull your emotions in. And that's right. Exactly. Leave them outside. That's right. And then you had to just go ahead and perform, and then you deal with emotions. It was like a way that you just kind of separate your emotions or being emotional, or stay calm and just carry on. Basically, is what we had to do. How about you, Tessie?
I believe that's a good start to this conversation as far as expectations is concerned. For me, coming out of nursing school, I wish I would have had more of, I expected more hands-on, more, not just all of the processes that we go through to give a medication.
Yes.
Call a doctor, you know, and how to respond to a patient who is having a moment, or how to digress and come back and start over again. You know, how to manage those different situations would have been better, I think, for me. I know they won't come all the time, but you know, we know that on a day-to-day basis, we experience many different things, like from many different intermediate areas of the nursing profession. So you have to deal with OT, you have to deal with ST, you have to deal with, in my nursing career, specialty was breastfeeding, lactation consultants, you know, all these pediatricians, neonatologists. You have to know how to control your emotions. And I wish that was one thing that we could have learned or get a little bit more insight, especially in these simulations that we have now, which I think a simulation is great. And it's not just based on the response to what's happening to the patient, but also knowing how to respond to your peers and how to respond to the doctor and the instructor and things like that. Just knowing how to take a deep breath when things take place, because we know things are going to get a little bit, they get urgent and emergent, and it can get chaotic if we don't control our emotions, which is something we learn in CPR.
Yes.
NRP,
Yes.
having that
ACLS.
calm, ACLS, you know, having, I can't remember the exact name of the position that, I mean, the wording of it, what it means, as far as that one leader controlling the environment.
Right.
So I think we all need an opportunity to do that and learn from that. I thought I was going to have a lot more hands-on when it came to learning how to take care of the patients in general, not just the meds, not just the procedures, not just the wounds, not just all of that, but just having a longer period of orientation, I think, is necessary so that you can, as I said yesterday, break it up.
Yes.
Your orientation is broke up between these first couple of weeks, and then you build upon it as you go. But learning the basic concepts of interpersonal communication, which is what Martha just really brought that to the forefront, that is necessary. And the emotional responses to things is necessary. So I think this is a good way to start.
Yes. You know, I just thought about something. If a person was an only child, and you're only child, you're coming from home, and then you're going into school,
culture shock,
and go to, and then after school, then you're working with a group of people, and you're kind of used to your things going your way, and people move into your moods, and you know, I'm a twin, so I'm kind of used to having to share, and you know, so, and that comes, but if you have brothers and sisters, you're used to sharing, and you're used to not always getting your way. Things don't always go your way.
Exactly. So with that being said, not to cut you off, Martha, with that being said, that's where I believe also team building skills are necessary in the orientation. In the orientation. When you're orienting, you're not just, and when you're like going back to preceptorship, when you're precepting and orienting, like you want to develop those team building skills. So I think that's a good point as well. Because especially for people who, you know, we don't know everyone's story, but when you do find out, like, okay, that person may have been an only child, or that person got their way all the time, or whatever they wanted, whatever they needed, however the case was, then this will come in and show them how to share, how to work as a team player. You don't have to be in your little bubble, and it's okay to come out, like engaging, bringing them, encouraging them to come out, and it's okay.
Exactly. And you know what, too? Establishing a good foundation of trust. Oh my God! If you're getting into an emergency with your patient, you want to have those teammates or have whoever's in your circle to come and assist you at all costs. And a lot of times, there's a whole bunch of stuff going on at one time, but to know that you have a team of teammates that can trust you, that you can trust, and they can trust you, it just makes things so much better.
and it makes the situation just go so much smoother as well.
Right, right.
You know? It even that energy causes it to feed off, to branch off to everyone within the group. So that we all can make the best decisions, the best choices, and have, hopefully, God's willing, the best outcome for the patient.
Now that brings me to a subject like energy, like the energy in the room.
Energy in the room. Yes.
And I know when I was in the military, and I think I was like 19 years old. I remember that there was a nurse that came in and just her whole attitude. I was a tech, so I was a peon. So I was a peon, but I remember every day that she came in a terrible, rotten mood, that it just affected the whole team.
That energy.
And I know the feeling that I felt. I was like, oh my God, I didn't know which way to go. But one thing that from that point on, I made it a point to never go into an environment with that type of attitude. And I can honestly say, that was 30 years ago? So yeah, 30 or more years ago, but that is the one thing that has stuck with me, is to learn to control my emotions, or to focus myself in a positive way before I walk through the door. Even though we all have all kind of stuff going on. But I had to realize that I set the tone for how my day was gonna go.
Yes.
I wasn't gonna wait for somebody to come into a rotten mood and push my emotions and just ruin my whole entire day. I decided that I would choose to keep my emotions in pocket, just so I could just get through my day.
And I can see that. With that being said, it's a choice.
It is.
Martha just mentioned it's a choice. And when you decide to make that choice, you will see how things start to unfold. And how your day winds up going.
Right, absolutely.
It's a choice.
It really is.
It's a choice. Yeah.
Yes.
Because I remember a situation where, like, a place where I worked, where we had someone that would come to work, and they were even in leadership.
Wow.
And it just was kind of like, is this something I would want to do?
Right.
You know, like, we're thinking about, you're just starting out, you're a bedside nurse, you're trying to figure things out, you're trying to learn how things flow. But how do you learn if someone is not really interested or in tune to really teaching you?
Right.
You know, you can tell from that energy. And it's like, it caused me to wonder, like, okay, do I want to be in leadership?
Right.
Do I, what do I really, how much further do I want to go? Or do I just want to stay here at the bedside and just take care of my patients and make sure I'm making sure they're happy at least?
Right.
And then you have, on the flip side, you have a nurse who comes in, she's all jolly all the time, hello to everybody. You're like, oh, okay, this is good. Okay, so this is how nursing can be as well. You know, you don't have to bring everything that's going on with you, even if it's your assignment that you have that frustrates you right off the bat, if it's call-ins, whatever the case is. We know that it gets stressful. We all understand that it gets stressful in that moment, but there's a way that you have to respond.
Right.
We all have to respond in a manner that will not sway others so easily.
Right.
Because I've noticed that in a couple of situations where before, like, there's a staffing issue or whatever. Everybody gets in an uproar. And then all of a sudden, it causes what? Tension, stress.
Right.
You know, immediately. So then what happens after that? That trickles down into patient care.
Right.
That trickles down into how you and your coworkers respond to each other.
Right.
At times, you know, how you respond to a doctor when they come in asking a question or whatever the case is. So you
Right.
have to, it's a choice. And once I realized that I needed to make that choice each and every day that I come in, it changed my life.
Right.
It changed my life, definitely. And my thoughts and my perceptions of nursing in general. Because I knew that I am coming in here on stage to take care of a patient, someone in need, someone that is sick, someone that is either having a baby or whatever the case it was, they need help.
Right.
And I'm here to help. So as we come in to help, you don't come in to help with an attitude.
Right.
Or mad.
Right.
You have to leave that outside the door.
Right.
And then start over again.
Right.
And we got to do it all day long.
Yes.
And it's not just even in the nursing profession, it's in your daily life. Our daily lives, we have to do that.
Right.
We run across people, they got an attitude, so you have to like adjust your attitude.
Right.
So, you know, we have to help each other no matter which way it goes.
Right.
You know, in order to get the best outcome.
Exactly.
Is how I see that. For everybody. So,
And you know, as a younger nurse, because this, I think what we're talking about now, it comes with time and maturity.
It does.
And as a younger nurse, I know before I started traveling, I would, you know, I was impressionable. So whatever the attitude of the people that I was working with, you know, throughout the day, you start to absorb that, you know, and not even knowing.
Not knowing.
But once you realize, wait, this is not serving me well. I've got to adjust my attitude because that's going to make me, you know, because we all know what it feels like to work 12 hours and you go home and you're exhausted and you just
do it again.
got attitude, all of that. But at least you can make, you know, some adjustments during your day. Take your breaks. Number one, take your breaks, refresh, recharge, and then get back. It's like really being at a football game and you're in a 12-hour football game. And you're constantly, you know, the ball is throwing you to do this, the ball is throwing at you to do that, and you got to expect it to win at all times. Because, you know, Tessie and I, we often talk about things being black or white, and it's how critical it is. That's where the stress comes in, because you know, okay, you don't have the textbook right in front of you. You have it in your head. So you know that, hey, I have got to make the right decisions. And so that's where the stress and the pressure comes in.
Yes, that's true.
And so it's that black and white all the time. So it's the caring for yourself and doing the things that you need to do to prepare yourself for your day. Because it's just like basketball players, they practice all the time to get at the top of their game. I see nursing and working in the hospitals, I see that just like that. We have to prepare ourselves daily to you know, to go in there and do our job and do it to the best of our abilities. And that takes some self-care. I call it some mental hygiene. And that's going to be the topic of our next our next session, about that mental hygiene. Because if you're prepared to go into the game, you are going to win at your game every time. Your job is done, and everybody's breathing, they're
Yes.
warm and dry and
Yes.
pink, and you know.
Yes. That's,
Just
look, in our profession, we're looking for those
That's-
certain criteria.
You have done a
Oh,
wonderful job, and you can pat yourself
on the back. Yes, done. And Martha brings up a good point before we let go with that, the next topic. But she really brings up a good point, because that was something that I was doing. I was working hard and not smart. I was working 12 hours straight, 14 hours, 16 hours, not charting, not taking a break.
Right.
Not recharging, resetting, you know, and then coming back to it, because it just seemed like everything needed to be done. Like she said, the balls thrown at you, left, right. It just seems like all different balls just was constantly being thrown at you, and you were expected to do certain things. All of it, better yet, all of it right then, right now, no questions asked. So I allowed that pressure to take over me and stress me out a lot. So once I really realized and did some mental hygiene and took heed to some self-care, it took me a while, no lie, it took me some years.
Yes.
But then I finally got it, and it made all the more difference.
Right, exactly.
In my perception and in my expectations.
Right, right. And you have to remember that you matter, and you have to take, you're the only one that you have. You're the only one. It's only one of you.
Yes.
So you matter. And you know, coming up as little girls especially, we're really a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us are taught to be accommodating.
Yes.
Put your needs on the back burner. As women, and then we know that there's some male nurses out there, but you may feel like that too.
As well.
It's all according to what's going on in your family, what you've had to deal with and encounter. But a lot of times it's, you know, you put yourself down, and then you make sure that everyone is taken care of. So that's where a lot of the pressure comes in at, and we tend to ignore ourselves and our needs, and then that's when you go into burnout.
Yes.
Burnout mode. You're being everything to everybody except for taking care of yourself.
Yep. You're right.
Well, that's the end of our episode. We thank you so much for joining us. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on so you can be notified when we're on, each time we're on. Our next topic is we're going to talk about that mental hygiene and self-care. And please know that we are rooting for you. We love you guys.
Yes,
we are praying for you, and we just thank you so much for joining us. And we will see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.
Have a blessed day.